All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Today is Tuesday. I hope everybody is blessed this evening actually. Tonight, should I say, we have a special guest, and before I introduce him, I just want to say welcome to Live with the Empowerment Advocate. I am your girl, Dr. Yolanda Jerry, also known as the Empowerment Advocate. So tonight, as I mentioned, we have a special guest in the house, and his name is Right Reasons, and we'll be talking about Shattered Glass, a masterpiece. Right Reasons is a motivational speaker, author, mentor, entrepreneur, and a spoken word artist. He impacts the world with his powerful, relevant, and relatable messages on child abuse and gang prevention. He also inspires and empowers victims and survivors of child abuse and youth bullying. So there you have it. Welcome, Right Reasons. I'm excited about tonight. I don't know about you
Thank you,
if
thank
you
you.
are, but I'm excited. So
I'm pumped up.
let's go ahead and get into it. We got a couple of people coming on in here. Kristen
Y'all
Gilman
come on
says,
in
good
here.
evening. Come on up in here, folks.
I see the comments popping up. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
So,
evening, Christy.
so those of you that are just jumping on, if you will, I'm just going to ask that you please share this broadcast with your friends, your family, your classmates, your business partners and associates, and anybody that you may know that could be following us at this time. My hope is that the message that is portrayed tonight is something that will touch the hearts of all of you that are watching, and maybe someone will be able to learn something from tonight and be able to use it to be able to go out and help others that they may come in contact with. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this interview started. So, Right Reasons. What's up, man? What's
Good. I'm
going
cooling.
on?
Another day in the office. And
Another day in the office, huh?
Another
I
day in
hear
the
you.
office.
Well, today, um, what I want to know before we get started is, can you tell us a little bit about who is Right Reasons, more on a personal level,
Okay.
and just let the world know who you are?
All right. So, yeah, I'm Devin Wade. I'm actually from New Orleans. I was raised out here in Gulfport, Mississippi. But for those the people that knew Devin, Devin, man, was a very prideful person. And I was a very talented young man. I really was. But nothing on that level in my mindset was nothing about trying to help people improve anything. Still stuck in my ways or whatever. Went through a lot of trouble, prison, and and different things. So I've experienced a lot of the things that I've actually, trying to counsel people in now. But see, when Right Reasons was born, Right Reasons was actually me trying to affirm myself because I wanted to do right.
Mm,
Everybody was always on me because it was like, oh well, this and that, and you think you this and you think you that. But in the Bible, and this is actually like the method to me changing my name. In the Bible, especially like with Abraham, with different characters of faith, God changed their names to something else, but sometimes their name was already what it was before what they were.
mm,
Abram to Abraham before he was really even the father of many nations was changed. And sometimes you just say, for instance, you getting dressed, it can change your whole demeanor, change your whole attitude, change the way you walk, talk,
right.
make you feel more confident about yourself. So what I told myself was, if I start calling myself that and I start speaking that over my own self and to have other people calling me that, then nothing but good can come out of it. So
Right.
now, yes, I'm doing things for the right reason, not because of selfish gain, not because I want to be seen, but because it's the right thing to do.
Right. So is that how? So how did you even come up with that name though? Like, did it just come out thin air? I mean, how did you come
Well,
up with that?
I always had the right part, the right, of course, because I be writing. Quick James, what's going on? One of my battle rap bros in the chat, man. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you, man. Please share it. You know what I'm saying? We doing something positive in here tonight, bro. So yeah, I always had the right part, but of course, because I'm a writer, spoken word artist, writing books or whatever. But the reasons part was the fact that I wanted to add more than me just trying to put some punchlines or some fancy lines together. I wanted to be able to take my life, add it into my material, and be able to speak reasonable things to everybody, without holding back. With my other material, I was held by other people trying to give me boundaries on what to write. But whenever I stripped that away from that and I said, man, look, this is what people need to hear. Everybody didn't need to hear just because it's Christian based, but some people just need something to live just for the day, just to get through the day so that they can live for tomorrow.
Right. I love that, just by what you're saying, just something for somebody to be able to, live even tomorrow, especially with the pandemic going on right now. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff that is happening. You got people falling into depression. You still got people shooting and killing each other. You still got police brutality. You still got domestic abuse, child abuse, you name it. It's so much stuff going on right now. And sometimes even just something as little as this can give somebody inspiration,
Right,
and some
right, no
hope
doubt.
that, hey, this is something that I can grab onto. This is something I watch, this is something I listen to, and I can take something from this. And maybe there's something that they didn't know and they wasn't aware of, but they can actually, take that and own it themselves.
Oh yeah, we're
So
gonna work tonight. Yeah, we're gonna
yeah,
work it out.
I hear you. So thanks for sharing that information. So, right reasons, you've gone through some traumatic times as a young child, growing up. And so, can you tell us a little bit more about that experience, elaborate on that for a little bit?
All right. So just starting from the beginning, um, I was me and my siblings. We were like some of those kids that I honestly only thought I had a dad. Saying while I was young. My
Hmm.
daddy was a good man. Rest in peace to my father. He was a great man. He took care of us. I enjoyed those times and everything, even with my siblings or whatever. But my life took a turn for the worse around about when I was 7, 8 years old in kindergarten. Still was the first time that I met my mother. Now, of course, the first day was all right, bribing us with candy or whatever. Yeah, I got in the car real fast. It was amazing. I like candy, and I hopped in the car. We went with her, visited with her, and man, honestly, after that day, man, things just went crazy. Now, for those that don't know, for what I don't speak, my mother at the time she was a recovering addict. At the time, and I can understand the true intention of her heart wanting to be in her children's life. That was a wonderful thing. What parent wouldn't want to reunite with their kids? At the same time, man, it was to the point to where I didn't, man. I didn't realize who she really was. And I only thought that it would be temporary because I was young. My mind just couldn't take it. I always thought it was going back to my dad's. But little did I know, my dad was planning on giving us away to her, whatever, like giving her custody of us. And man, nothing ever went right. It seemed no matter what we did, we could clean the house really good, whatever, it don't matter. Nothing pleased her. It was nothing that you can do to please her. In those situations, I'm talking about we were not allowed to even talk to each other, like no loud audible. If she heard you talking, you got in trouble for it. Um, I mean, just little small things, would just tick her off. Even if somebody else made her upset, then we were the targets, for a lot of those things. Uh, the abuse was very physical. The abuse it dragged on to be very mental. It was times where I did not even know if we would live or survive. It was times where we were forced to stay up all night, not sleeping. It was times where and I apologize to anybody for I'm just trying to be as transparent so that you understand leading up to whatever we end with. I want you guys to understand something. So I'm being as transparent as possible. But when I say abuse on the level to where from a parent to a child where it was bloody. Like it got really bloody, to the point where we couldn't walk going to school because we get beat with stuff like wooden plunging sticks or metal shower curtain rods or hot frying pans or breaking glass plates over our head or making us drink spoiled milk or making us in the rain or whatever, making us take our shirt off, shoes and socks off, and making us run away. They call the police on us saying that we ran away on our own, or just making us leave the house after giving us water pills and just different stuff. Like, I mean, just, and I know that I'm not the only person that it has happened to, but so many people are traumatized and scared to speak that they never get a chance to share these things. I've experienced on levels that, man, people just would not believe. Wanting no 7, 8, 9, 10-year old should want to commit suicide
Mm.
at that age.
Wow.
I wasn't even the worst to get it. Stat, what's going on, bro? Man, appreciate you coming in. I wasn't even the worst to get it. Like I said, I ran away from home multiple times because I couldn't take it. I always tell people that my sister was the strongest one. My
Wow.
sister to me, uh, not gonna say her name or whatever. I got multiple sisters and brothers, but my sister was my mother to me, and there was
Mm.
many times where, man, my sister was so strong. The times when I was crying was the times when my sister held me and told me that things were gonna be okay. But she
Mm.
was the one that was getting beat in her head with high heels. I'm talking about I've seen the worst. And when I was packing up my clothes and leaving, sneaking out the window to, saying to run away in a state that I wasn't even familiar with. After Hurricane Katrina, we stayed in West Palm Beach, Florida. I
Mm.
stayed out there and I ran away in a city in a town I knew not of, which is where I got involved with the gang violence or just any other violent stuff that I did. I was no longer Devin at that moment. I was G Wade. I was gangster disciple then. I was whatever I was doing. I was a
Wow.
destructive person, ready to self destruct. I didn't care
Wow.
about my life anymore. So whatever I did in the streets, I was really looking to die, not
Mm.
killing myself. But whatever I did, it didn't matter. I was a crash. I was just a crash test dummy at that point. I was just along for the ride.
Wow. So you had the physical abuse, you had the mental abuse, you had the not knowing where you fit in because you felt like your mother didn't love you, you weren't getting the love at all at home, and you had that one sister that you depended on, and so that led to you running away, multiple
Right, right.
times. So how did you even survive during that period? Like, how did you survive during that time where you did leave home?
The
Because I
running,
know,
yeah.
yeah, the running away.
So with that, like I said yet again, I started. I first started running away. I was 9. Yeah, 9 years old, and during that time, that was actually in area out here in Gulfport, Mississippi. Then, man, it was times where abandoned houses, I would sleep like literally like. Okay, so you would pick like the houses or whatever. So if I see a house and I know like it's got like the bushes like right there, kind of covering from the street to the house, then that's
Hmm.
like a nice little spot. I would literally lay there, have a jacket or whatever, and I would lay down there and sleep. Yeah, you worry about the bugs and all of that, but to me, being homeless was way better than living with somebody who reciprocated no love. And
Wow.
you pushed me out. You
Yeah.
left us. You know what I'm saying? You came back in our life only to destroy something that was innocent.
Right.
There were times where, of course, just like anybody else running away from home or that's homeless, stealing out of stores or whatever the case is, just to trying to eat, or that led into like crime, like breaking into houses
Mhm.
or trying to get things that's valuable. Which I also went to jail my first time when I turned 9 years old. That
Wow.
was my first time going into the detention center, and every year, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, I went. I was in jail literally every year. Every year, got certified at the age of 14 and 15, charged as an adult for crimes that, if you know me personally, you know. If not, I mean, this stuff is public. Yeah, I don't hide anything. But basically just a bunch of violent crimes.
Right.
But I did what I thought was necessary to survive because I didn't know no better. I was
Right.
ashamed, and when you in situations like that, you're embarrassed to tell people what's going on. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm still in mind you. I'm still in school at that time, so people in the neighborhood, they know me. I can't be like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm even breaking into cars, trying to find a place to sleep, or it's raining or whatever. And that just led me into the crime, that I was in. You know, but
Wow.
I survived. I survived. I
Yeah.
made it work.
Yeah. So you did everything you needed to do to survive. I mean, obviously you survived it because you're still here. You're
Yeah.
still here today as an adult. It's unfortunate that you had to go through that, but you went through all that and it's made you the stronger person that you are today. So how do you feel, or should I say, once you got to a point to where you got back up on your feet and start making that turnaround and figure out there's more to life than what you were going through and what was happening to you, how did you get on that road to healing? That road to starting to try to heal yourself and then becoming this person, who's a spoken word artist and a motivational speaker. How did that turn happen for you?
Like I said, I got certified at the age of 15. I was facing 45 years mandatory time.
Mhm.
Most of it was for like the armed robbers or whatever, because that was fast cash for me at the time. Ended up going to prison or whatever. And, man, the first time I didn't learn. Second time I went to prison, and a situation occurred. And this is not too far off. Just showing you guys, man, it's never too late to turn back. 2016, I lost my sister out here in Gulfport to she got hit by a car, and she passed away. I was locked up at the time. Because of the relationship with me and my mother, she did everything in her power to make sure that I didn't attend the funeral. So they took the body from here to where she currently lives, and the prison system wouldn't allow me to travel to a different state to do that. Honestly, that broke my heart. It broke
Right.
my heart. I wasn't able to function. I couldn't think straight. I was trying to fight anybody that was around, but it came to a point to where I sat down and I just started writing all of my feelings out, because that people was like, man, you need to write. You just need to write, man. You write and just get it out. I tried to write books about the story. I couldn't write anything. It wasn't until I went to sleep one time, I was locked up and I had a dream. And this is with me still being in the organization gang or whatever, everybody want to call it. I had a dream, and my little sister, she was telling me, she was just saying, no, don't do it. Like, don't do it anymore. Don't do it. And in your dream, you know what they talking about. You might not understand it, but you know. And I knew from the jump. I already knew what she was talking about. She was talking about the organization. And at that time, I was upset because I knew who the lady was that hit her, and vengeance was in my heart. Vengeance was in my
Wow.
mind, because we was just fighting this thing. And it's like, when I get home, you know what I'm saying. It is what it is. Like, that's family. It is.
Mhm.
But man, I had some older people in my corner, just really in my head. Shout out to one of my mentors, Pastor McGee. Man, was just in my corner the whole time, and just kept me on the straight and narrow. And when I didn't have nowhere to go, even coming from there, he was there, and just shedding light, just teaching me how to be a man, because I never got that. I never had those role models in my life to show me anything. So even simple stuff, and I'm just showing you guys the toll that stuff like child abuse or not having parents take. This is why family is important, and this is why it's so important for us to protect our children and to actually be there and to be parents, good role models, not just parents, but good role models. But I didn't even know simple stuff like even like how to go get a driver's license, or even anything about taxes, so to speak, or
Mhm.
how to eat, like none of that. Anything civilized, I didn't know, because I
So
had been
you
locked
probably didn't
up.
even know how to apply for a job either, huh?
Not necessarily about when I mean I had worked before, but it was
Right.
like different stuff like getting paid under the table. But I knew how to
Right.
fill
Right.
applications. But
Yeah.
I'm saying stuff like that as an adult that you should know how to do. Even balance checkbooks, or know things about credit. Just simple stuff
Right.
like that,
Yeah.
about like getting an apartment, of different documents that's needed to do certain. I didn't know anything about none of this.
Mm.
I didn't know about tax, nothing. I had been locked up since I was 9 years old, consecutively, like straight, getting out, going right back in, not even being out past 2 months,
Mm.
going right back in, because what else was out for me? Send me to a halfway house. I get out of there. You just send me somewhere. Where am I going?
Right.
Right back. So it takes a toll on you not knowing that, and the system is just, there's really no help out here for us, or people that's coming out of prison, or that's really like people that are dealing with these mental issues. You can do counseling, which is perfect. I definitely recommend it, but at the same time, you have to have a backup plan for what are you doing in between that time, because the
Mhm.
counselor can talk to you, but you still got to have people in your corner that's teaching you, that's showing you, and you got to be teachable. I was so I had been abused so much in my life that I didn't know what love was. So when people was trying to give me love, I would
You
reject it.
because you didn't know how to accept it.
I didn't
Because
understand
you
people
never you
telling me the
never knew what
truth.
it was. Right.
I didn't
Right.
understand trans. I thought that people were trying to tell me you don't know nothing and you ain't good. They're not telling you that. They was trying to show
Right.
you how to grow. And I can't do
Yeah.
it off. I can't hold your hand all day. You got
Right.
to learn these things. They put me in those situations. And
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning. But I'm
Right.
better off than where I was because I got people in my corner. And you're another one. That's in my corner. Y'all, this is my mentor also. And she's helping me, like, stay organized with my business, entrepreneurship, and that things like that help. I need you. I need other people. Even in my battle rapping now, I have a mentor even in that because I don't want to be all over the place. I want to go and I want to meet my goal and I want somebody to be able to keep me in check. Let me know when I ain't doing what my best or giving 1,000%.
Right. And that's good that you, like you said, you need those type of people in your life. It's good that the pastor was your saving grace, right?
Yeah.
He was assigned to you because if he wasn't assigned to you, who knows where you would still be right now,
Right.
And so, thank God for him. And then the other people that came behind him that just kind of put their hand out and took their arms and wrapped their arms around you. And as Pamela mentioned, you do have to be teachable. And that's one of those things that you are very open with now, when it comes to people helping you out. You are very receptive, maybe back then you wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't have been receptive and willing to take that in because you would probably think that somebody was out to get you or somebody was trying to take advantage of you when really they're not. They just want to see you grow,
Right.
see you to continue to grow and level up from where you were, just to prevent you from even thinking about having those thoughts of going back down that road. And
Mm-hmm.
as you get older, you realize the older I get, you got to remember there's somebody else coming right behind you that was in your shoes, and somebody's
Exactly.
children are going to always be looking at you. So with that being said, has your trauma from your child abuse, what type of impact has that had on you? Has it affected you? I know it's affected you personally, but has it affected you professionally too as well? And if so, how, negatively or positively?
Oh, both. You all anything you do in life is gonna be pros and cons. I love
Mhm.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I love bread. And sometimes I want the crust, and sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I feel. But sometimes you got to take it. You know what I'm saying? What it is. So let's speak about negatively first, because that's stuck in people's head. I'm sure right now. When it comes to that, speaking on professionally, when it comes to that, there are some things or some people that I do stay away from, that I try not to deal with and normally it's people that remind me of my mother.
Mm.
So it's sometimes it's hard for me to work with certain people
Mhm.
that are kind of demanding or trying to control different things. That's hard for me, and I'm trying to work through that. Even where I'm working at now is I have a you know somebody that I work with that's kind of like that, and it bothers me. But I'm trying to stay the test because I want to grow. So I'm allowing things to bother me. I'm trying to get used to being uncomfortable because
Yeah,
I understand that my business won't grow the way it needs to
you are
if I'm
uncomfortable.
not used to being uncomfortable. We're gonna always work with people that rub us the wrong way, and I'm trying to accept that.
Mhm.
Until it becomes something that crosses a boundary that's not necessary, then we gonna nip that in the bud. Also negatively, because of the verbal or the verbal abuse, it has to some effect. It's certain critiques that I can't take.
Mhm.
So if I do write something, and then it's like, if I felt good about what I wrote, but somebody else was like, no, I didn't like it, then yeah, that kind of still bothers me. So yeah, still open to some critique. Now I can take advice, but in certain critiques, if I know I did something that kind of bothers me. So it's mostly, I say that to say negatively, it affected me mentally, or being depressed, feeling like nobody cares about what I'm doing, or nobody will want to support. And I'm slowly rubbing off on that. It's just the game. You win some, you lose some. But
Right.
positively, oh my God, as far as speaking goes, and if if you've never seen me live, or if you have seen me live, I know anybody on here that has ever heard me speak live doing spoken word. It don't sound like I memorized the piece and got before you and just started doing anything. It don't sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, people feel the people can tell when something is genuine.
Right.
They can tell when you're passionate about it or not. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people support me just because they feel it. And they
Yeah.
know that I'm not trying to sell them anything, or not trying to boost them. Like people feel when even when they buying a shirt or a hoodie from me, people are supporting because they understand my story and they understand where I'm going. And a lot of us don't give our situation time to develop us.
Mm-hmm.
And I let me say this because we're praying and we're asking, you ask God to get you out of situations, to just stop it immediately. You tell him you don't want to go through certain things, you don't want to sacrifice certain things, and the only thing that you're doing is slowing up your process is all you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's for certain situations. I'm not here to customize anybody or what anybody's going through. A lot of people are going through things they don't deserve to go through. But
Right.
I say that to say, just in my situation, if it relates to you, then then just eat the meat and throw away the bones.
Right. Absolutely.
Whenever you're going through something, say for instance, patience. You pray and you ask God for patience, He'll put you in those situations to develop that. And we need that tug and pull. We need to be uncomfortable. We need to get used to being uncomfortable. You need to get used to being distracted. You need to you need to get used to that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am, Miss Trina. I will.
See, I
But
told you that's gonna be coming forward.
yeah,
I will say this, that it's true. I remember going to I've always heard you, via social media and all those different things. You are very passionate about what you do, and when you are actually out there doing what you do best, you exude that energy. Like it comes out of you naturally, but I know it's only because you're in that mental state of mind where you put yourself in that place to be able to be seen so people can connect and understand what you're putting out. I remember going to the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Awards. I think it was last year, and like literally for me, that piece, you had me in tears. I mean, hands down, I was
mhm.
like, ooh, I was like, man, like, I mean, all up in my chest, and I was like, wow, that was powerful. So the gift that God has given you, continue to use it, because there's so many people who are going through what you've been through and they need to hear that. And sometimes they need to hear that through your voice, through the passion, through you putting those words out there like that, because sometimes that's all people connect to is somebody's story. You can be somebody sitting way up here and be on top of the world, but a lot of times people only connect to you because of your backstory, your life story. I don't care how much money you make, but I guarantee you one thing. If there's one thing they're gonna remember about Right Reasons, is they're gonna remember how they saw you.
Oh yeah.
So thank you for that. So um let's switch gears. We still talking about the child abuse, but if you were talking to um the youth, or you were talking to a child, or overheard someone that, or overheard a kid that was dealing with child abuse, or even if you didn't hear and they could be watching right now, what advice would you give to that child who is going through child abuse? What would you say to them to encourage them or point them in the right direction to get help?
Okay. So I'm going to speak towards the help part. My advice would be more so to I would have to split the advice, because the advice to the child would be to stay strong and persevere in any way that I can tell them that. And that difference between different children, uh, and I know that that probably don't make sense, but trust me, I've been speaking to so many children about that, and at different ones. I can look in a child's eyes and I can see different signs, and I know when a child is going through that. My advice would be more so to the people that know that that child is dealing with child abuse. And my advice to you is, don't personally. go to that mother or father that's doing it to confront them about their situation. Why? Because that child has to live there. And sometimes you don't make the situation better by confronting somebody, even if you call the police, even if you call DHS, because a lot of these people are not immediately going out there and taking care of business. You make situations more difficult or more dangerous for that child when you do things like that. My advice to you would be to love that child, but you have to strategically find you if you know the mother, if you have to find different ways to pull that child to the side and love on them. You have to let children know that you love them,
Yes.
and we have to do our part to strategically remove that child from that situation. Whenever somebody goes to the emergency room or hospital for something, you don't just put a band-aid over the wound that's just bleeding. This thing is steps in the process that you have to take before you clean that wound. It's not just stitching it up. We
Right.
got to see how bad it looks, how deep the gash is, how much pressure we need to put on, how much blood do you lose. We need to, and I said that to say you need to step back and see this whole situation for what it is, because some children can manipulate a situation just because they simply don't like living in their home. And it's not
Mhm.
that they don't have a bad it's not that they're even being abused. They just don't like being with the parents that they're with. They just
Right.
want to do what they want to do. But there are some children that are going through child abuse to the fact where you can see scars on them. If you touch them or hug them and they grunting and stuff like that, and you hit a certain spot and you hear them, then yes, you need to do what you have to do. You need to take that child and you need to make sure that they get the help that they need. There are all type of hotlines for it. You need to try to contact mentors, or even like Dr. Yolanda, or me, or whoever you trust and know that's in the community that has those resources that can point you in the right direction. But do that before you deal with the child personally.
Right. Right.
Don't not know what you're doing and just go fooling with somebody's child, because
That's
you
right.
putting that child in danger and could possibly this is all child abuse is always a life and death situation, because just as many children survive, it's just as many children that don't make it out of those situations. And the
Right.
same thing for domestic violence, the same thing, any type of abuse, the same thing.
That's
Have a plan before you go into it. You
that's very
don't Firefighters don't just run into a house. We and it's on fire. You don't do that. You need to
that's
know what's
right.
going on.
You're right. That's great advice. I always say, yes, you have to have a plan. You don't want to just go, because you don't want to go in and end up making matters worse for that child. And if I always tell people, if you don't know the answer, seek out people who do have the answer or who could help you and have those resources. It's always somebody else out there, that can help you out, especially if they know the severity of the issue at hand. And then the other thing that you mentioned is just love. Show that child some love. Love conquers everything. I don't care what nobody says. And sometimes that's all a child needs to be able to trust you. You know what I'm saying? When you show that child love, that's one way to be able to get that trust, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're a stranger, because sometimes they don't know what love is, because they think love is the abuse. So you have to show them different. Like, no, what you're getting is not love. Love shouldn't hurt. Love
Um.
shouldn't cause you to have bruises. Love shouldn't cause you to want to commit suicide. Love shouldn't want you to, do all these bad things. Love is something that you embrace, is a feeling, it's an emotion that people give freely, right? Love was given freely to us, and so when you show
One of
somebody
the
compassion and show your heart, that's one way to earn that trust.
one of the biggest signs to know if a child is going through child abuse is if they don't look you straight in your eye. If they always looking down at the ground whenever you speak to them, that's a definite. It's almost accurate that they have something going on at home like that.
Mhm.
Dogs do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. If there's something going on or if they don't look at you, that means something's wrong. So you're absolutely right. You're right. That's a good tip right there. Thanks for sharing it. So, um, so right reasons. I know that you wear many hats, right? You have all, you got your job, and you got your poetry, you got your battle rapping, you're mentoring the youth and all these different things. You're very creative, in a lot of things that you do too. So with that being said, I know Miss Trina McCarty had asked the question if you would be willing to perform a spoken word piece this evening. So, do you have something for us? One or two pieces for us to be able to listen to?
I got one for y'all, and I got the one that fits the that fits. The other one is on my phone right here, so I'm streaming from it, but I got my tablet, and so I'm gonna give you guys this piece, and I hope because it's just so relatable. So let's do it. Let's do it. Can y'all hear me really good? Even if I yell like this, is this a distraction?
I can hear you fine. Y'all give him a thumbs up or a high five so we can make sure that you can hear him really good. Because let me tell you, you don't want to miss this because he gonna spit, and when he's speaking, you're gonna be able to feel his passion right behind it. So, um, yeah, I'm ready. I'm sure they're waiting too. They watching.
See, people have no idea what my life was like. Now, see, that's why I'm this different dude. Yo, I was trying to prevent my mother from killing me literally while you probably enjoyed the liberty of watching cartoons. Let me just talk to him. See, I was a homeless 10-year-old. I wasn't focused on finishing school. No, I was more concerned with finding shelter because I left home with no shirt on my back. It was 30 degrees outside. Not to mention, I was breaking in those houses just to look for food. So you asked me how my childhood was? Well, I didn't have that, but since you asked, I mean, if you got a minute to spare, then let's have a chat. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever joined a gang and craved a family because you knew they'll make sure you had a place to sleep at? Have you ever been jumped by grown men as a teenager, clothes hang, but knew you couldn't get folded like laundromats? What about accused of the unthinkable like murder or beat upside the head with pots and pans? You ever had your hand smashed onto a hot stove? You ever lived with somebody that said, baby, I love you, I got you, but you standing in the puddle of your own blood and you got to question your own lifespan? You ever experienced being choked, bashed in the face, struggling to breathe, hard rice on tile floor, and on top of that, you got to get on your knees? You don't think that was abuse?
Mm.
Parents, I wish you could understood the scars that you could leave on the child. Wow. She was coaching me every day before school saying, you better say you got jumped in these streets. And you better change that face to a smile. It wasn't one day of living in that household with Gloria that I actually thought I survived. But February 28th, I turned 25. Now, pastor's in the building. I know the Bible says chasing me, but it never said chasing me with knives. Now, please know I'm not writing this to get just to for attention. I'm trying to talk to you because a lot of us parents we get mad and we beat on our children. Why? Because they double you, not knowing that the enemy wants division. See, this is very true. His plan is to put an anger in the son's heart that he can double use, and therefore Satan said, "Yeah, I'll be taking your peace. I'll be taking the relationship. I'll be taking the bond from you." And he said he'll be taking the W.
Wow. Nice. That was powerful.
I need to. And honestly, that I tried to write that piece right there so many times because the first one I wrote was
Mm-hmm.
really transparent. But I'm actually on part two of that. It's called The End, but I'm actually on part two of that, and it's almost done. But instead of giving it to you guys like live or whatever, I've been planning to do it as a professional video.
Okay.
Uh, there's just so much creativity behind it's so much more that I want to show you guys than just saying it. I want to show you guys, and I want it to be impactful, and I want it to hurt. I want people to cry when they see it, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Trust me. When they come out, I think that you guys will enjoy it. I'm hoping that you hit the share button, not because of me, but because somebody's gonna need to hear the advice. I'm gonna be throwing in tips. I'm gonna be throwing in advice. I'm gonna be throwing in just different affirmations, and just it's gonna be like a big salad bowl of just everything that you need to know about child abuse, domestic violence. I'm wrapping it all up into one. So
Yeah, go ahead and mix that up. Mix all that. It's like good soup, making a good stock.
No seasoning in it. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be
Uh-uh.
real.
Nasty good, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
nasty
yeah, yeah. Yeah, nah, that.
bad. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that piece. I know you don't want to share too much other stuff. So we'll be on a lookout, for what you have, coming next. I know I will be.
Yes.
So um now I believe everybody should have a mentor, right?
Mhm.
um, and because that's the only way anybody can grow. A lot of people, they just try to, go through life instead of grow through life. And to me, I feel like you said, you sometimes you have to be uncomfortable, in order to grow. That's the only way you're gonna make it. Because if I tell you one thing, if you are comfortable where you are, it's nothing wrong with being comfortable, but don't expect a whole lot. You know what I mean? To come from being comfortable. So um when it comes to mentors or positive influencers who have been in your life, who are those people, or what has kept you motivated and kept you positively influenced in your journey?
Well, I have a mentor for every journey that I plan on taking in my life. I first find a mentor, or if I'm already doing it and I find that I can't make sense out of it, then I'm gonna go find a mentor. The guy that was just in here, he's actually one of the staff guys that's over the battle rap group that I'm in. But
Okay.
he does certain things to like challenge me, and it's gonna help me when I come from the battle rap scene and start back doing like spoken word live. You're gonna notice the difference because they're drilling certain stuff for me. Even with like we just did like some promotion challenges. So even
Hmm.
with that, it's helping me. He was like, "All right, so do a 35-second video." I'm like, "What?" After we did like a minute, so I mean, and it wasn't about the winning or losing. I needed that because I need to start. It showed me that I'm not promoting my brand like I really need to.
Hmm.
Aside from battle rap, it's showing me that you definitely have time. We act like we so busy throughout the day, but he was drilling it to us like, man, look, man, yeah, if you got time to be on here scrolling or hitting like or doing this or talking noise in the battle rap group, you got time to do a promo. So I don't want
That's
to hear it. And the way that they do it is just tough love. So I needed that from the battle rap side because I'm trying to get back into performing live because
mhm.
I'm feeling a little bit less confident, but I'm getting back up there. When it comes to even like doing the clothes, and long story short, I look for people that have fruit in their lives already. If you are already where I want to be, like you got your nice little stand, pop up posters in the back with your logo, your room painted, you know what I'm saying? You inviting me to the live, and this is all compliment. Like this is my goal. These are my goals. So you're my mentor in my entrepreneur life for me doing this, impacting people because your fruit is evident. We can see it, and
Mhm.
I can't find. It's pointless to have a mentor somewhere where you're not going. It's like
Mhm.
having a tour guide to show you around New York City, but you and him are in New Orleans.
Right. Right.
Like, what can you show me? Like, you don't you don't
Mhm.
know. And you fail like that when you only look for people that's tickling your ears. They only telling you something that you want to hear. It's times where when I talk to you and it's like, my mind is playful, but you're serious, and I'm like, hold on, let me straighten up, because it's real, and I need that. We have to know the difference between business organization. Like, I need to critique you on something, and then it's a difference between, hey, how you doing today? What's going on? Let's chop it up. You know what I'm saying? And you just have to know the difference, and
Right.
we need both because we need a balance. But at the
Right.
same time, don't get so friendly with your mentors that you feel like you're so much of a friend that you can't be corrected.
That's right. You know
Because
me,
then you
I got that
then
snapback.
then you gonna get your feelings hurt. I remember the first time my mentor in Jackson, and he was basically teaching me how to basically drilling my head, not going back to prison. So he helped me get a job and just everything. And the first time, like, he got upset at me about something, my heart was broken. I just felt like it was no more good in me. I didn't belong here no more. Just like, I'm gonna run away from you. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that, but you can't get too friendly with the people in your life that's helping you grow to where you can accept the correction.
Right. And it's just corrective, constructive criticism, and
Yeah,
constructive correction, and some people need, and like you say, you have to be willing to accept that. You can't just be buddy buddy all the time. Because when I mean business,
there you
you
go.
know. So it is what it is. So
Hey, Paula.
we are almost done. Another one of my mentees. Um, so we're almost done with the interview, but before we close out, I have two more questions to ask you. And so the second to last question is, do you have any upcoming events, um, or any projects or initiatives that you have coming up that you'd like to share? And also, please give our followers your contact information. I know I have it down on the scroll, the little ticker down at the bottom, but if you have other ones, you can share that too as well.
All right. So, as far as events right now, due to the COVID situations that's going on, the only things that I'm still doing is, as far as my craft with teaching performance or teaching the passionate writers and poets. I'm still teaching my classes. I currently have 10 students right now, but I don't put a cap on it. If you want to be taught, I'm always open to helping people that are teachable. I'll never turn them down. Don't worry about prices and all that. Come to me personally. Come to me personally. I'm all about it. If you're passionate about what you're doing, we'll work everything out. So don't worry about that.
That's good.
When it comes to performing live, I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm sitting back collecting my thoughts because one thing about it, I care about my brand too much and I care about you guys too much to just give you guys anything. So I'm trusting and just hoping that you guys will be with me in this moment. I just recently lost my father not too long ago. So
Right.
honestly, performing live hadn't it's been on my mind, but I'm not rushing out there because I want to get back 100%. Because when I come back to you guys with these testimonies and everything that's in my heart, trust me, you'll more than enjoy it. So the projects that I've been on now, I'm currently getting ready to release the album for you guys because everybody's been
I
asking for
can't
that
wait,
for
Lord. I
years.
can't wait.
And man, it's gonna blow your mind. Anything that you've ever heard local from anybody, just know that don't have that expectation in your mind. When they first come out, I'll be handing them out around town or whatever, and I'll be having a virtual listening party with the DJ that's helping me put it together. And
Awesome.
man, we gonna rock this thing. And I got something for everybody on there. Um, I am gonna start posting more spoken words on here on my Facebook page, which either you can search "Right Reasons" in the bar, or you can search down at the bottom. You'll see where it has my tagline down there. For mostly everything on any social media, you can almost search "Right 3 Reasons" and it'll 9 times out of 10 pop up. Even for my clothing line or my online store, you can just go to kencustoms.com and just search my name, Right Reasons, and it'll pop right up. Um, Instagram, all of that, right 3 reasons. On YouTube, I have some things on there, not too much, but like I said, when y'all see me promoting, just support. Also, I try to for those like I was just saying earlier in the live that I try to post things for people that need it today. So you might
Right.
see my hashtag right on time. I post things for I just I just post whatever's on my heart 9 times out of 10, and hoping that if I'm coming down your block, that might have not been for you, but the next post might be. So y'all enjoy those posts. That's for y'all. That's not for recognition. That's not for attention. That's strictly for you. That's strictly soul food for you guys. So if you feeling some type of way, you can 9 times out of 10 go to my page and I have something posted positive on there. I don't allow people to come on there like too much saying anything negative. I get that off my page. That's not that's not fair to you guys. Everything I post on my page is for you to pick you up whenever you feeling some type of way. So just search my name, Right Reasons, or even inbox me if you dealing with anything crazy. Let's talk about it. Let's make some sense of it, or let me point you in the right direction.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing the information. I'm sure, there'll be some people probably hitting you up, asking you. I tell you right now, I'm waiting for that album to come out. I can't wait. I'll probably be like the people trying to sit there and be like, look, come here, let me holler at you. I got something I want you to listen to real quick. And I'm be trying to be like, okay. I say, this is my mentee. So you need to go and follow him, on all his social media platforms because he's gonna be the next thing popping before long. that's going to hit these airwaves. So thanks for sharing that. So my last question to you before we end this evening is, what is one thing that you would like to leave on the hearts of the people that are listening and watching right now, um, that you would want them to know and also remember?
Don't give up because you're tired. Don't give up until, oh no, no, I was gonna say don't give up till you're done. Don't stop because you're tired. Stop when
Yeah.
you're done. And let me
Mm.
tell you something. We're never done. We're
All
never
right.
done. Either you're soaking up, we're sponges on this earth. Either you're learning, or when you're learning, you squeeze it all back out. Squeeze that knowledge back on somebody else that need it more than you do. I tell people this. I don't sell knowledge. I don't sell wisdom. I don't
Hmm.
sell it. If you need it, I'm here.
That's
I
right.
had I had somebody come to me and they told me, they was like, "Man, you just gave me like all the resources I need to start my own clothing brand." I said, "Why wouldn't I?" Most people don't do that. They don't want you to know the secrets.
They
Why?
still.
It's enough room for all of us to win. Do you know how big this earth is? It's enough room for every one of us to win. I want you to win. I want to win. I might learn something from you. Just because I taught you don't mean that you can't teach me anything.
Right.
So this is what I told the guys at the event. This is what I'm gonna leave you with. The more people that you network with and that you meet on a positive level, this coffee table that we're on, when I bring my resources and you bring yours, the roles don't switch. The table just get bigger.
Hmm.
The table just get bigger.
That's right.
It's room for all of us. So, man, my thing to you guys is just, man, don't stop because you're tired. I know you're gonna get tired. I know you're gonna get frustrated. I know these things. I know you're gonna get impatient. Look, just keep going. If you feeling like that, find you a mentor. Find you somebody that you can talk to and pick you up. We here for you, man. It's people here for you.
That's the truth. He telling you the truth, y'all. Because let me tell you, this this one right here, he'll get in his feelings sometimes. And I had to snatch him up. He might send me all these different emojis with these little rolling eyes and all these different things. But at the same time, he'll also come back and say, "Thank you. I needed that. I appreciate that." And I always think that, a lot of times, people, they do get tired, right? And some people want to quit. But if you quit, then where you going after that?
Man, listen, it's just
That's
like
what
dominoes.
I
If you quit, if you quit, the people that's following you will quit too.
That's true. Because you got to remember, somebody's always watching you, just like we on this live right now. You don't know who is following you. I don't know how many times I get people come up to me and I don't even know who they are, but they know who I am, right? Because they've watched my social media or they heard me speak somewhere or whatever the case may be, and somebody actually came to me and she just bust out in tears when somebody said, that's Dr. Yolanda Jerry, and they just bust out crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, you never know who you are impacting. That's why I say you got to be mindful and remember what God has given you and what you are doing and the purpose that he's called you to go
Yeah.
out and do. It's not for us. It's not for us to keep.
Listen,
It's
y'all
people
stop.
that pay it forward. You got to pay it forward. And as many times, as long as you keep paying it forward, guess what? Your blessing's gonna keep on coming. If you be
Yes, ma'am.
selfish, guess what? You just self-sabotaging yourself and you cutting your blessings. I'm gonna tell you right now, I want my blessings. And I'm gonna tell you when I go upstairs, I want them gates to open. And all I want to hear is job well done.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I thank you for the opportunity to come on and share my testimony. And thank you to everybody that's watching or anybody that felt anything from it, man. Salute to y'all. Everything that you doing, you know, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, everybody, there you have it. Right Reasons has given you some information. He talked about his child abuse. He talked about how he grew through that and was able to come out of that situation and now is out there impacting so many lives around the world, especially heavily involved with youth. So again, please go follow Right Reasons on Instagram, on Facebook. Also check out his clothing and apparel store. It's in the ticker down at the bottom. please ensure that you continue to share this, because just because they wasn't here live right now, they can go back and watch the replay. And also start some watch parties. You can do some watch parties too, so that way it'll be able to capture people to come on in. So thank you guys. Thank you again, Right Reasons. I will be in touch with you again soon, probably tomorrow, about something else, maybe. To do my little check-in with you. But thank you all so much. Be blessed, and we'll be back in 2 more weeks on another Tuesday. Take care.
All right.